This is a picture of me exactly a year ago. I was eating a lot of junk food and drinking at least a bottle of liquor every day. And this is me now. And I still do all that shit. Gang, gang, bitch.
Some people's biggest fear is being fat. And I'm sorry, but if your worst fear is looking like me, you have some bigger problems in your life. Like, are you kidding? Are you kidding? Stop. I'm sorry, but ex-fat people are kind of the worst. Like, great for you. You lost weight. You did what you wanted to do for yourself, hopefully. Why do you have to bring other people down, though? I'm telling you right now, unlearning fat phobia will help you. We are all fat phobic to some degree, including myself. I find myself thinking things that I should not be thinking because society ingrained fat phobia so deeply that it's just normal and we don't blink an eye.
When I was 6 years old, I had a brain tumor. I'm fine, I'm all Gucci now, but I had a brain tumor in my cerebellum, which is your center of motor skills, balance, all that fun stuff. After my second surgery, I gained a ton of weight, like unexplained. And when my mom asked the neurosurgeon about it, the neurosurgeon says, well, you know, sometimes the hypothalamus gets jiggled around in there. So my entire life, I've worked out 5 times a week. I have watched what I've eaten. My numbers, my blood work is stellar. But I'm still fat because I got a jiggled hypothalamus. Yes, my thyroid's been checked. It's fucking fine. Health comes in any size. You're hot.
Bro, this shit fucking hurts. It always hurts me when I see a black person being fat phobic. It just crushes me. Especially because one of the origins of fat phobia was literally racism. Prior to the Atlantic slave trade, Europeans actually found plushy, chubby to fat women extremely desirable and as a sign of health, whereas people who were thinner were sick and weird, specifically ugly. But during the Atlantic slave trade, many Europeans realized that many African enslaved folk shared similar proportionate chubby to fat sizes that they considered desirable, specifically black women. So in a desperate attempt to essentially perpetuate racial inferiority, they decided to just switch up the whole narrative and use science to back it up. This is what I mean when I say it's never been about health. Also, I'm reading this book called Fearing the Black Body, where Sabrina Strings goes into detail about this, using multiple historical references. It's really good. I beg, please stop with the fat phobia.
Oh, looks like the health police came to party. Yeah, let's talk about what is considered obesity in the first place. So the guidelines that we use to decide whether someone is, quote, obese or not, is actually based off a system that was originally created to justify social eugenics. Not only that, they found that once health problems started to arise, not even all the time, the person's BMI had to be out of 40. Yet regardless of that piece of information, that actually only applied for just the white people, that didn't even take into account how none of their research actually was accurate for black people or people of color, they still decided to set the BMI standard of obesity at 30. What? That makes no sense, except it does. Why? Because the people backing this research were the only 2 pharmaceutical companies that had the only 2 weight loss drugs on the market. So essentially they needed to scare people into thinking that they were at risk for health conditions when really they weren't. Also, people in the overweight and, quote, obese category statistically live longer than those in the normal and underweight. The more you know.
Yeah, so there's so many reasons that someone can gain weight without having excess calories or more calories than a thin person. You can look those up, like there's lots of conditions that have weight gain. But the thing is, it's based in sustainability, and it's not sustainable long term to just do calories in, calories out. Your body will gain the weight back. 95% of people who intentionally lose weight through dieting and exercise, keyword intentional, gain the weight back and more within 5 years. So it's not as simple as just calories in, calories out. It's as simple as making sure you're eating a varied diet, making sure you're moving your body, and not trying to just make yourself thinner for the sake of it. That's sustainable health. Calories in, calories out might work temporarily, but your body will bounce back to its set point weight, unless you're a big outlier.
There was once a time where I used to think I was bad for wanting more. Why am I still hungry? Why can't I have the willpower to not want more? Why do I feel hungry again? It took a long time for me to learn that hunger is okay. Food is a basic human need. Hunger should not make us feel mad with ourselves. So I am here to tell you, fill up your plate. Go get seconds and thirds. Eat until you're full and satisfied. Eat what you really desire. Because you deserve to have a good relationship with food and your body, despite diet culture telling us otherwise. Your body just wants to take care of itself. Are you allowing it to?
Ugh, I ate so much today. I probably won't eat it all tomorrow. Yeah, I peed so much today. I just won't pee tomorrow. What? Well, I mean, like, I just really indulged myself and peed a lot, so I don't think I deserve it. But you have to. Like, your body needs to go. And your body needs to eat. You need to eat tomorrow, no matter how much you ate yesterday or today or whatever. Your body needs food, even if you're not moving around a lot. Okay, love you.
Okay, so I want to talk about fat phobia, and it's tied to white supremacy. In the 18th century, people used to sort slaves through skin color, but as slaves started being lighter skinned because they were mating with white slave owners, that became a less reliable metric. So they started adding traits to black people to distinguish them further, and one of them was fatness. While being fat for white people was seen as being rich and being opulent, for black people it was seen as a sign for laziness, but also being sensual, which kind of sounds like a good thing now, but in the 18th century it was seen as sort of satanic to be sensual. It was a huge marketing success that we still deal with today, where we view fat people as lazier, less productive, and it's not true. So to perpetuate fat phobia is to perpetuate white supremacy.
You probably know someone who's thin, but they eat a lot and exercise very little. So why is it so wild to think that you also probably know someone who's fat, but eats very little and exercises a lot?
Fat phobes love to tattle on themselves. This is on a video about how being afraid of being fat is inherently fat phobic. She's like, I don't agree. I'm like, that's fat phobia. She's like, actually, it's because I want to be able to walk upstairs without being out of breath. That's embarrassing.
Do you want to know something crazy? This is my body. Do you want to know something crazier? I don't hate it. Do you know that you can actually have a body and not hate it?
Right, it's about the fourth time I've filmed this now because I'm getting angry. I've had quite a few comments this week of people saying things like, oh, well, it works for me. Oh, well, I've lost such and such weight. Well, I know someone who works for. Each to their own. Slimming World, Weight Watchers, Slim Fast don't work for anyone. The vast majority of people are going to lose weight when they first start. Then it's going to stop. Then about 90% of people are either going to regain it, regain more weight, hello, or in some cases, get a fucking eating disorder. I lost 4 stone at Slimming World. So don't be sat there thinking that just because you've lost weight now, that you've won in that equation. You ain't, they're playing you. No one in diet culture, in any diet company, is winning unless you are the owner of that business, because that's where the money's going. Diet clubs will feed you lies about nutrition and health and tell you that being thin equals healthy. It's not. It's fat phobic. It's inaccurate. They want your money. They don't give a shit about your health or your well-being.
Say that your heartburn and your back pain is caused by your weight. What are we going to do about that? If I were to prescribe you a low-calorie diet and exercise, I know that 1 to 2/3 of that weight is going to be regained in 1 year, and almost all of it will be regained within 5. Health at Every Size is actually a multidisciplinary approach that shifts the focus from weight management to health promotion. So instead of using weight as a barometer for success, we focus on health behaviors. Health at Every Size is also a social justice movement. Patients in larger bodies face many disparities. Healthcare providers spend less time with them, are more reluctant to perform screening tests like mammograms and pelvic exams, and they're less likely to seek medical help. You are right about the shaming piece, that's called weight stigma, which negatively impacts patients even on a physiologic level. Several well-designed randomized control trials have found that health at every size leads to better patient outcomes.
Just a reminder that I am very fat and very sexy, and I am 100% glorifying obesity, and there's nothing you can do about it.
Now this is problematic, but here's why. I will not be commenting whether I have or not, because that's not the point. But let's say for hypothetical purposes that my body has changed. You don't know what it took to get there. If I was starving, restricted, dehydrated, overexercised, all in the name of health. I'm on a ED recovery journey, not a weight loss journey. By this narrative, it means that I don't deserve to recover unless I'm smaller. I'm not worthy enough of recovering unless I'm in a smaller body, which is not the case. And also, really a key concept for me to be able to come to terms with my eating disorder. It was really hard for me to let go of that dream, but that dream kept me the sickest. So yes, I'm striving for health, but it has nothing to do with weight loss.
So as you can see, this is the hashtag body positivity on Instagram, and it's mostly straight size people with a few plus size people sprinkled in. And it's a huge reason why I emphasize that I'm talking about fat acceptance when I talk about my experience as a fat person, because even though body positivity has its roots in fat acceptance, it has become something that's more for people who have a certain body type. And that is fine. I'm all for being confident in who you are and accepting who you are despite what society has told you, no matter what your size is. However, I specifically want to uplift and bring acceptance to my fat people. So that's why I specifically use fat acceptance.
Let's talk about it, because I think if we clear up this confusion, we'll all be a lot more on the same page. We do not have as much control over the size of our bodies as society would like us to think we do. Just like your height, the biggest determining factor of your body size is genetics. Also environment, also socioeconomic status, also epigenetic factors. A very, very small percentage of what determines the way our body looks is individual behaviors like what we eat and how we move. When you add that to the fact that 95% of intentional weight loss efforts fail, and most actually result in weight gain and are extremely detrimental to a person's health, you see how the logic of oppression only being about things that you don't have control over applies to anti-fat bias.
When real fat women get banned from posting and get put under review for showing their body.
If you have not seen this video, go watch the full thing. Hannah the Harpist speaking straight facts again. This video is actually directed at this comment that I saw in her comment section of somebody saying straight nonsense. Being fat does not equal unhealthy. I'm gonna say it again. Being fat does not equal unhealthy. In fact, a Harvard 2019 study suggested that 70% of weight is caused by genetics, not diet and exercise. Genetics. And on top of that, most people who are classified as obese or overweight are actually perfectly healthy. According to a 2015 study by UCLA, 54 million Americans are classified as obese or overweight, even though they're perfectly healthy individuals. And even if it did have to do with health, it doesn't. Did you know that doctors can legally discriminate against a person for being fat? How the fuck are they supposed to fix a health issue if doctors can legally discriminate against their health? Fat phobia has nothing to do with science and everything to do with hating fat people for no fucking reason.